Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is M.Bagus Adyafa, and I am one of the representatives from the Senior High School number 3 of Palembang. And today I will be a part of the proposing opposition team that will respond with the arguments, with the motion that happens to be that this house prefers that the government hand out free cash transfers instead of free education, food stamps, or vocational training. First of all, I would like to mention that the proposition did mention that the sense of security is given by the cash transfers. However, this cannot always be the case for a long-term situation. The proposition proposed that if the government would to give cash transfers to people who are in need, that they will use it for the greater good, such as buying food and helping the neighborhood. But picture this, as the government, we are trying to give help to those who are in need, right? Those who live in rural areas, in isolated villages, those who are very hard to reach. In those rural areas, there are not really many options to choose from. So to help them, the key is to really just move them out of that rural areas to the city, to bring them to a brighter opportunity. If we were just to give them cash transfers, then the proposition mentioned that it will help the neighborhood somehow. But what are they going to do with the money to begin with? There are very few businesses, and even if they were to start new businesses, they would compete with each other, which doesn't really solve the problem. They are not going to make very much money with that. And being a street vendor isn't really a thing that can be progressive, which makes you a lot of money. There are very few options to choose from. The proposition did mention that if they had a job and if they were to reach a certain part of economic condition, then they would get education. But wouldn't that just beat the purpose of giving them education to begin with? Why don't we just do that? If we were to give them education, then they would be wise to spend their money, and education is literally the requirements for everything. If they want to get a job, then they need to be educated. If they want to spend their money wisely, then they need to be educated. That is why that education is the core in order for them to survive. Also, the proposition did mention that there is this big gap in the job market, right? Well, the thing is that education is really needed, and there is no instant way. In order to beat those who are privileged, well, they have no other choice but to work for it. That's just how the world works. Certainly, if they just work hard enough to the point that they can beat those who are privileged, then that problem wouldn't really be a big problem anymore. In conclusion, there is really not much point to give cash transfers because all of those in the end will be used for education anyway. That's all that I can propose. I am M.Bagus Adyafa. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.